Hey,
We got it.
sorry, I was like, I know, I just don't know how to help people because I had someone else try to Skype me the other day and she's like, there's three names. I'm like, I don't know what's what. So she just literally clicked them all.
Yeah, I know. There was there was two ISISes from Melbourne, so that really threw me off.
Uh-huh.
And then there was the live ID that you just sent me, and I was like, okay, that's got to be it.
Which one worked?
The live ID.
Okay, I'll just send that to people then
Yeah.
instead. I don't know how to change it to like my name. I just don't know. Uh, oh well,
Freaking Skype.
yeah.
How are you
Sorry.
doing?
Let's see. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Just chilling, enjoying the Cali weather.
Oh, that's nice. I'm still in Koalas, chilling. It's
Uh,
been pretty good though.
is
It
it?
hasn't been bad. Yeah. The
What's-
last few days has been like less sunny, but it was definitely like last week was really hot, so that's good.
How's the weather? Or, I mean, like just as a whole, is it nice? Has it been nice?
Yeah, it's only rained like a few days, but like last week was like all week. We were like you could like go out and like lay out and get a tan, so that was like
Really?
really nice.
Gotcha.
So yeah,
What's like just like the atmosphere like? Because I left.
I mean, no
two-
one's there.
Is it just everybody's just gone home and stuff?
Like Corvallis, like when school's not here,
Dang.
like
So
and no
pretty much,
sports.
it's pretty much summertime, right? I mean, that's basically how it looks.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. So, but it's cool. I've just been chilling. I've got like one of my roommates is still here, and two of my teammates still. So we've all been like, we were all like seeing each other before all this went down. So like, we're
Gotcha.
still, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So so are you still going for your bachelor's, or are you in grad school right now?
So I'm about to finish up in June,
Okay.
and I'll be done then. So I got two classes left, and then I'm most likely going to stay here for grad school. So that'll obviously be another 2 years. So then, yeah, that's kind of my plan.
What are you going to grad school for?
No idea.
No clue yet?
I like know what I want to do outside of grad school. So like during it, I don't know like what I just like know I want my master's. I want to do student athlete development.
Okay.
So like I don't know, something within like sports admin maybe, but like or like personal development. I don't know. I'm definitely more of like I'd rather like I value education a lot, and like I like getting my master's is really important to me, but I'm more of I'd rather just get out into the workforce and do it type of person rather than like sit and take notes and all that stuff. But
Gotcha.
I really do want my master's, so you gotta
Okay.
do what you gotta do.
That's cool. So that'll be in, you said sports, what, like administration? Or is that what you said? Or
Yeah,
development?
in that realm, because I want to do student athlete development, so that's
Student
like under
athlete.
sports administration. But I'm really interested in like all of the aspects of student athlete development and like the personal development side of things.
Gotcha.
And like that, I'm a human development family science major, so
Same,
like all
same.
of my classes, like I've loved all of those. Just like dissecting all of that is like so interesting to me. I don't know, and I've loved like all of the education classes as well. Like just I don't know the real life classes of like, you know, like I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I
I
really
was an
science. I don't really like English. Like I don't
Yeah.
really like
I was
a lot
just
of stuff.
I was just up in my so we're all doing homeschool, or I'm done. I just graduated, but my brother's doing homeschool, and my mom has to like help him and stuff, because basically every parent has become a homeschool teacher now, which is
Yeah.
crazy. But she's like, Christian, get out of here. I'm helping Cole with his English. I was like, everybody in this house speaks English. Like, why do we have to do this?
I know I don't miss like having English classes, but I am doing like a lot of like program proposal writing classes type, like so like really writing intensive.
Gotcha.
And like I like writing where it's just like you can just talk about your own like experiences and like personal, because then I can just go forever. But when it's like you need
Yeah.
10 empirical research articles to base it, and I'm like stop. So
Yeah.
but that's like literally the major I'm doing. It's either that or like do science that I don't understand and that's not enjoyable. Like I don't know. I
Yeah.
respect it and it's really interesting. I'd rather do science than English just because like I think it's more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But
But it's harder.
just like I don't care about the insides of a leaf and like you know what I'm trying to like that part is just like I always loved like the anatomy and the human
Yeah.
like body part of like
Sure.
bio and stuff. And I was like, wow, it's so cool. I didn't understand. Like, I just would get so confused with like the legitimate like way everything worked. But I was like, that's cool because that's real life. You can apply that. Like, oh,
Yeah.
your muscles do this, and then obviously I do gymnastics, so it's literally physics.
Yeah, yeah.
And my coach would be like, it's just physics. I'm like, I know nothing about physics. Like, what goes up must come down, and I know that for a fact because I come down a lot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I trust me, I know. I was a kinesiology major, and then I switched to HDFS just because.
Yeah.
I think I failed a chemistry class, and I was like, I'm just gonna.
I hate chemistry. That's one thing that I never liked. Hated it.
I was like, how do I need to know this to be a personal trainer? So
exactly.
Kind of shifted my mindset there. Okay, so let's say 4 years from now, dream job. What's Isis Lowery doing?
I am successful and I'm happy overall. That's like what I want to be doing.
Sure.
Definitely working within like college athletics.
Okay.
That's like one of my biggest passions, and I thought I just liked college athletics because I was in college and I like college. You know, it's like, oh, I like college. Like, it's so fun. But I just realized that I loved being around so many people that were just so driven and motivated every single day to get better in whatever aspect of their life that was. And I just have never been used to that, being around that drive and that passion for something that interests me. You know what I mean? Because like not everyone loves sports. So like, I'm not saying there are no passionate people anywhere else in the world, but like obviously sport is just so different. The sporting culture in America is so different, so competitive, and I wasn't used to that. But like I really realized that I thrived in that because everyone was just wanting to get better, and everyone was just so motivated to get up every day and get better at what they love to do. And I was like, yeah, I love it. So I would love to be part of that in some way. And like I said before, like personal development is huge to me. Like I've grown a lot since I've been in college, and I want to be able to help other people kind of like go through that transition and come out stronger on the other side and really like feel like they've found themselves and like can start to like appreciate and love themselves. So I kind of just want to be like a hype coach / in like the realm of college athletics / I don't know. And I've started working my business with Arbonne, and that's been really fun, and I love that, and like using like all of the products, and you know, it's just like it's been really exciting to like work it from like I literally like am getting paid. It's like an effort-based business, so like you get in what you put out. Like you get out what you put in. Yeah. But it's just awesome because like I'm getting healthy, I'm getting fit, and I'm feeling good, and I've got my energy, and like that's all. Like literally like all it is. And like reaching out to people like, hey, do you want to try this? Like, would you like to do this? So like kind of helping other people through their journeys. I'm just a helper. I just want to help people, and like, you know, I just want to help everyone feel as good as they can, and that makes me feel good about myself when I know I can help people do that. So that was the longest answer ever, and I
no, it was great. I have a few points now that I'm probably going to go into in the conversation, but what is Arbonne? Just explain that real quick for anybody that doesn't know. Would it be like too broad to say it's a supplement company?
Yeah, because it literally is like nutrition, hair, skin, makeup, like.
So it's like self-care.
So it's like, so the whole point of Arbonne is like a holistic approach to well-being. Okay. So they really want you to like be the healthiest and live the most sustainable life. Like all of their products are like sustainable, over like 2,000 ingredients a ban. That's like when I think it's like 11 a ban, like in the US by like the FDA. So like this company ensures that like what you are digesting and what you're putting on your skin is like the best for you and the best for the environment. So like all the products are vegan. It's like dairy, soy, gluten free. It's like all like, it's just really great. And like their whole thing is like a holistic approach to well-being in general. Like all their, they have actually like donations, and like mental health is something that's like really important to me. Obviously I work with the Damn Worth It campaign. And that's just always been something that like I would be an advocate for, and, you know, make people know that it's okay not to be okay, to reach out for help, all of this kind of stuff. But they actually like have a donation section. They work closely with the Mental Health Foundation. So I was like, oh my goodness, like they love the environment, they care about people's mental health, and it's really just about like becoming the best version of you from the inside out. And it's not about like, I need to lose 200 pounds. Like if you need to lose 200 pounds, like there's definitely stuff that can help you, but it's not one of those fad, like you got to drink 6 shakes a day and you're only allowed to drink like, you know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. But like there are a lot of products that do help with like the toxins and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So a lot of people get the idea of like, oh, like you're just selling stuff online to make people skinny. It's like, no, actually, like I'm promoting like a lot of these products that help people like help themselves from the inside out. Because like most people, like, you know, want to get fit, you go to the gym, you work out.
Yeah.
But it's like, but what are you like putting in? Like you could be like working out 20 times a day and still be like bloated and have like stomach pain, and you don't know why. And maybe it's because your digestive like system is not working the way it's supposed to be. So here's something that can help, and then boom, you know what I mean? So it's been cool. And like my whole life, it's been like my health and fitness journey per se has been because of gymnastics. Like I worked out because of gymnastics. I didn't work out because like I want to be fit and healthy. It was like, well, I got to be fit and healthy if I want to be really good at gymnastics and be able to do it safely and be able to do it well and feel good and all that kind of thing. So now that gymnastics is done, it's like, how can I be motivated to maintain this healthy lifestyle when like that kind of like my purpose for doing it is now done?
Yeah.
So like cool, because now I've transitioned as like I'm in retirement. I'm retired now. So it's like, how can I? And I'm so mad that I didn't know about this more when I was an athlete, because it's all like the products are like NCAA banned substance approved. Like they're not like, you know, it's okay to take them. Professional athletes, like it's like you're good. Yeah. So I was like, why didn't like I just wish I had have known about it, because I haven't felt this good in so long.
Really
hard to explain. I'm doing like one of our 30 days healthy living challenges right now, and me and one of my old teammates are doing it. And she's like, dude, like, I've never had this much energy. I'm like, okay, that's what I'm saying. And I'm not just like saying it because I like want people to buy it. It's like, I genuinely feel like, I don't know, like inside, I just feel like clean, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like, it's really weird. Yeah. But I've been doing that, and I just want to be able to help other people feel their best, because like, and if you're paying, then everyone's like, oh, it's so much more expensive. I'm like, well, when you compare it, like if you look at like how much a foundation is, like from like a brand that most people are like, oh, like look at my foundation. Yeah. Our foundation is like similar price, and it's like good for you. Like it's not gonna like, you know, it's got like stuff in it that's actually gonna like help your skin rather than like make it worse and stuff like that. Like what's in it. And I'm like, and they're like, of course it's gonna be a little bit pricier if it's better for you. Like if you look at organic milk versus regular milk, like it's all more expensive. Yeah. But you get more for your buck because it's like it's benefiting you. I'm like, that's so true. And all of this stuff has lasted so long. Like, I don't know, but I could talk about it forever because I love it, and it's just like my new thing now. And I'm just
I completely like. Well, first of all, there's the plug for Airborne. Go get you some. Is it Arborn or Airborne? Arborn.
Okay, so my accent, it's Arbonne.
Arbonne. Okay.
This little, and their little slogan is like flourish. You know, like they want everyone to like flourish. Because like from a business side, like it's effort based, but like it can really like help you. You know what I mean? Like the people that are successful in this company are like, look into it. They're killing it. Yeah. So it's what could start as like a side hustle could end up being like your legitimate source of income, if you want it to be. So it's really cool. So But anyways, that's the little. I just want you to flourish. And look at this drink bottle; it's so cute.
There's our paid advertising for Arbonne. Anybody listening, go get some Arbonne.
NCAA approved.
No, I'm trying to get in this world too. I don't know if you ever heard of First Form. They're a supplement company, but they do a lot of other stuff. And they're doing like an athlete search, which you should look into because I think you'd be great. Okay. But they pick one athlete and 5 brand ambassadors every year, or this year, and the athlete gets put on like a 6-figure multi-year contract, and they're fully sponsored. And so, like, I've been trying to. I don't want to say I mean, obviously, I'm trying to win it, but from what I've heard, like, they just like changing yourself isn't going to get you the job, but just showing who you are.
Exactly, being authentic, being real.
Yeah, and like listening to like the CEO's podcast and stuff like that. Like I just really align with like their mindset and mentality. And I felt like when they described like what they were looking for, like they were just painting me with a brush. And I was like, so I understand like relatively like where you're coming from and stuff.
It's really exciting. I don't know, especially like post college and stuff. It's like, well, what the heck do I do with my life?
I know. How do you, so
like I can literally like do everything I need to do with this.
Yeah.
Wherever, like it's all like, and that's like the beauty, especially like online stuff. And like there's a lot of skepticism. It's like, oh, it's a pyramid scheme. It's like this company's been around for 40 years. Yeah. And someone buys something, it's not going directly to me. Yeah. It's not. Yeah. Like that's not how it works. And people just like, and you know, if you Google something, it's gonna come up with like, Google anyone can put stuff on Google. So
Yeah.
it's like you like have to like research it and not just like surface level. Be like, wait, what? So I don't know. But,
I think what you said is so important too, because like, you know, we're both now former college athletes, which is crazy to say. I mean, did you spend 4 or 5 years at Oregon State? 4.
Yeah, it is.
So I spent 5, and it's just like,
It's done.
it's so crazy. It's done. It's done. I mean, obviously, I don't know what your, you know, goals are, if you're planning to continue to, I mean, gymnastics kind of ends at the college level, but like if you're planning on doing like anything else, but like obviously like I'm trying to continue to compete, but like not with wrestling, and so it's like one thing like kind of died, you know, and
Yeah, it's like you're mourning that loss, and especially like when season got ended, like before it could even.
I want to talk about that too, because I think as far as like Oregon State goes, you were probably affected as bad as anybody, being, you know, an All-American last year in the floor, and then you know, coming into your senior season, I'm sure you probably had goals and aspirations to win the whole thing at floor. And
yeah, I don't know. It was just so, because it started, I don't know, the week of senior week is always, or senior night, senior day, it's always, there's so many emotions, because it's like your last time competing at home. Most of everyone's families have been able to come out. Like my family flew from Australia. Jeez. Like my mom, my dad, my sister, and they come out every year, but like my grandparents made the trip. My aunts, my cousins, and like some of them have never seen me compete. Like some of them have never seen me compete. Like a few of my like aunt, like whatever. But I mean, like they've never seen me compete in college, so they've only seen it through the TV. And there is nothing like college gymnastics atmosphere. It's not like, because they're used to watching me like back home or like wherever it is in elite sports, very different. It's more serious, and it's less like, it's not college. It's like, so they were so excited to be part of that environment that they'd seen on TV, and they'd, you know, literally just, they were like living through me in a sense, like, wow. And then they were so excited to come. And then the Wednesday that we heard like, oh, UCLA's meet got canceled or whatever, or like on the Tuesday, I'm like, this, you know, that sucks. Like, oh my gosh. Like, but that was, I only thought because the team pulled out, because they're like, we don't want to travel and like risk it. And I was like, oh, like it's that bad? Like I just didn't understand the enormity of like the pandemic that was.
No one did. Nobody knew.
But it was around for a little while, but we just, you know what I mean? So anyways, and then Wednesday it was kind of like, so we're closing it off, no fans. And I was like, but my family is here. Like, what do you mean no fans? Like, that sucks, not being able to have fans. And then it was like, okay, families, yes. And then it was like, actually, the team pulled out. And we're like, okay, that's fine. We can still do like an exhibition in Gil with just our families or something. Yeah. And then like, everything shut down, nothing's happening. Pac-12 is canceled. Regionals, no. Nationals, no fans. Nationals canceled in like 3 days. And we were like, oh. So just the fact, and I think it was just already such an emotional week. And like, I definitely put more pressure on myself. I wish I hadn't have. Like, I don't regret it. But like, if I had got another chance, I would have just promised myself that I just would have like not put any pressure on myself to be perfect that senior year, because like statistically it wasn't my best year, but I still like, I don't know, like it's just the more I reflect on like it's the memories. Like I was talking with one of my teammates last night, and I was like, this has been like the coolest, even like the lowest of low moments, like where we did not have the best meets or we got the lowest scores. It's like there's still like we can laugh about it now and be like, do you remember when that happened? And it's like, oh my gosh, like, and that is what like I'll cherish forever. So I think like just knowing that I'm not going to have those, like be able to make more of those memories is what's sad, but knowing that I have them makes me so happy, because some people just never get that opportunity. You know what I mean? So very, very bittersweet. But I definitely, the first like 2 weeks I was like, wow, like this sucks. And I was like, I just never want to feel like this again. And I was just like, I felt like I was like purposeless. I was like, what am I doing now? Because I knew that I wasn't my sport, and I knew that I was so much more than just gymnastics. Yeah. But it literally just like ripped away. And I was like, well, I thought I had a month to just like plan, like at least I was going to. And then it just seemed like it was like boom, 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 boom. And it was just like, oh my gosh. I was like, okay, going into like taking our sport away is one thing, our season. Yeah. And then it was like, boom, flights like went through the roof. Like I'm talking $5,000 I saw for one flight to go home. And I was like,
your flights went, the flights to Australia went.
It was crazy.
Because
So it was
flights in America went way down.
they went down everywhere except like other
Okay.
countries.
Because I wanted to go to Australia. Because I was like spring break. I was unfortunately. I mean, I guess fortunately, but like I got super sick because I had a flight to Hawaii because it was like $200. And spring break.
Like, spring break, let's go to Cabo for like $30. And then I was like, oh, we could die. And then I was like, how much is it to go home? And at first it was like, oh, it's like not that bad. I'm like, this is so cheap. Like, are you serious? And my mom's like, ISIS, like, it's like kind of risky to fly right now, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. And then it was like 2 weeks of quarantine. And like for us, it was like 2 weeks of quarantine, like in a hotel in the city. Like police were guarding the doors, like you cannot leave, like, which is good because now in Australia, it's almost like completely like flatline. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's so good right now back home. Because I think it was so strict, and obviously there's a lot less people, but they like shut down. So only like Australian citizens were allowed to fly back. And then when they did, and I'm a dual citizen, so like, you know what I mean? But then like I was looking and mom was like, yeah, they're starting to like creep up now because like a lot of the airlines back home like stopped flying. They're like, no, like we're done. Like we're not flying until May, like whatever. And like some of the American airlines are still going there, but obviously like they were charging a little bit more because the demand was less and they're not trying to have a flight of 300 plus people on that plane. Like that's like social distancing. So they cut down the availability, which then they're like, well, then they've got to make more money. So then the tickets, you know what I mean? So like I don't understand it all, but like it was just crazy. So I'm hoping to go home in like June, July.
Gotcha.
Like when I usually would have gone home anyways.
Yeah. I think during, well, first of all, I really felt for some of the gymnasts, especially you seniors, because there was a big senior class, and you guys did so well. Like at the end of the year last year, like I don't want to say like it was an underdog, but like you guys came out of the woodwork towards the end of the year, and you know, and you guys finished at 6th as a team, and I just know like, you know, and I don't know how prolific it is in gymnastics, but I know in wrestling like everything like can change at the national tournament. You know, like you can have
anyone's game.
It's anybody. Like I mean, you go hit one floor routine, and you get like a 9-9. That'd be a great score.
Plus is a good score. Yeah.
Say that again.
You want a 9-9 plus, like that's.
So like, let's say you get a 9-9-5, and you're an All-American, or maybe if it's a low year, whatever. Like you could be a national champ with one. I mean, I don't know how it works, but it all works.
So all Americans at nationals work as 1st to 8th place, first team, 9th to 16th, second team. So that's essentially it. So you could have like a 7-way tie for 3rd, and you're all Americans. So it's like it's based on like it's not so like if the highest score is a 1 for whatever reason, if like everyone just fell 100 times, you'll be an All-American if you were in the top 16.
Gotcha.
But through the scores, like at nationals, there's 6 judges. So that really helps eliminate some of the bias, if there is any. So like they drop the highest and the lowest, and then average the rest. So it's like, because usually in regular meets, it's like 2 scores.
Yeah.
Like you get a 10, you get a 995, you got a 9975. You get a 98, a 96, you got a 97. So yeah, but nationals is like, and that's what we're saying. We're like, as soon as like we qualified, and like anything can happen on any given day. You don't know what the other team can do. Like exactly, like there was an opportunity. Florida had to counter fall on beam in the first rotation. And we were like, okay, like if we just do our job, like we could do this. It was going to be hard. We knew it because Florida's a really strong team, and like they're very, very good. So we were like, we can't just be like, we got this, guys, because anything can happen, you know? We just did our jobs and we got to floor. It came down to the last rotation, came down to the last person. Because, like, the first few scores we had on floor weren't that great. And we're like, okay, like, they're going to beat us. And they're over on bars, like, going 995, 9925, 99, 99. And we're like, 975, 9. And we're like, all right, we need a, like, okay. And, like, Kate, it ended up coming down to Kate, and she needed a 9-7. That's what, like, I didn't know at the time. We just know that she needed to, like, hit. But, like, one of our coaches was like, 9-7. We need a 9-7. And we're like, she gets, like, 995s every time. So, like, but you're still like, anything can happen. You know what I mean? And so anyway, she like lands her last pass. it looked like she was coming out, like opening out early. And I was like, oh my gosh. And she stuck it cold 2 feet. And we were just like, so that, and we obviously knew it was going to be more than a 9-7, but you got to wait till you see the score.
You never know.
Like, people were like, oh, like, it was a fluke, like, blah, blah, blah. Like, you guys don't even deserve to be there. Like, Florida's the better team. And I'm like, well, on the day, we were. And that's what it is. Like, you know what I mean? So everyone was so shocked that Florida didn't make it.
Yeah.
And we rock up to nationals and everyone was like, oh my gosh, like that, like they did it. Like, holy shit. Like, and we're like, well, yeah, like we're not like bad. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? But it just so happened to be that like there was an opportunity presented to us. And honestly, like we did our job, but like we've done better for like the whole year.
Yeah.
It happened to be that like our best was better on the day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say? So when we got to nationals, like, again, we like had a great meet. Like, like for me, like I had a full on beam and like I didn't have the greatest bar team of my life. But like, so statistically for me, nationals was my worst competition of the year, which is kind of funny because like as a team, like it was such an amazing feeling. But I felt like I let the team down because I didn't like do my job in a sense. And that's always hard with team sport. But I mean, like when you rock up, like you don't know, like the number one team to win it could just have an off day. Yeah. And 3 falls and then boom. You know what I'm trying to say? So like you don't rock up and be like, oh, we're not going to win. Because like you don't know that. Yeah. Like statistically, like you can look at the paper and be like, okay, like we might come dead last. But like that doesn't mean anything because we knew we had that confidence and belief that like it's anyone's game. Yeah. And everyone thinks that, especially like some of those top teams, like they might not think it's anyone's game because they're like, well, if you're ranked number 1 the entire season, why would you think it's anyone's game? You know what I mean? Yeah. Like obviously the great teams respect that it can be anyone's game, so they still are like you just can't take it for granted and you can't like waste a moment. Oh, for sure. I think that team last year was living proof that anything can happen. No one would have predicted that. I had a feeling before we had that meet. I woke up that morning and I was like, we're going to nationals. Like I just had a feeling. I was like, I don't know how. I don't know what's going to happen, but I know we're going to nationals. Like, I just knew it. Like, I just had a feeling. And I had this belief in us because we just had momentum. And I was like, it's happening. And I knew that we were going up against Florida and Denver. Yeah. And maybe something's going to happen and, like, we're going to knock out Denver. Because, like, we were more likely to, like, knock them out than Florida because they were the number 1 ranked seed. Yeah. But we knocked out Florida and Denver won that regional. So we were, like, us and Denver, we were both like, hey, like, this is crazy. Yeah. I have the utmost respect for that team, for every team, for all of our competitors always. And my heart went out for them, you know, just as I'm sure like the heart goes out for everyone when they don't make it. But I was just like so proud of what we accomplished because so many people were like, an upset is fairly unlikely for this regional. And it's like, okay, like you never know. Like, never know. And that's what is just so amazing.
That it's just, sport. I mean, that's why you go compete. Like I would take a fluke any day. Any day. Like honestly, like I would hang my hat if I beat somebody that was better than me. Like, you know, like because it's like because it's not who's better 365 like more days, 365 days out of the year. It's who's better at that time.
Exactly. And that's what I think is so awesome about like our coaching staff and especially like our head coach Tanya. She's like, I don't care if we're ranked 40th, if we're ranked 1st, you go out there and you prove yourself. Like, even if you're the number 1 team, you still got to show up and prove why you're number 1. And not prove to anyone else, prove to yourself. Because she's like, at the end of the day, like, we've done the work. And she just was like, because there was so much going on, like, with social media and, like, surrounding, like, oh, the fluke in Oregon State. Like, oh, like, how did they make, like, you know what I mean? Like, there was obviously people that were like, we love this kind of story. And then there were people that were like, this so isn't fair. Like, Florida was in the top 3 all year. Like, they deserve to be there, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, Tanya was like, so... She just wanted us to know. She's like, you guys deserve every bit of this. Like, don't for a second think, oh, we don't deserve to be here because, like, you know, we fluked it. She's like, you didn't fluke this. Like, your hard work paid off. And in that moment, we got the job done. Yeah. And I was like, wow, that's so true because I'm one of those people that, like, would feel guilty for my successes. So, like, when I was young in gymnastics, I would, like, kind of, like, prevent myself from getting better in certain ways. Because I like felt bad for my teammates if they couldn't do something. Or like if I get something really quick, I'm like a relatively quick learner. And like I still to this day, if I can't do something on like the first try or like the first 3 tries, I'm like next, like this is it. Like, and I think that's why with gymnastics it like pushed me so much because like you literally have to keep like, you know, trying to perfect your craft. And it was like, well, if I want to be good at this, I have to keep practicing. But it was just for me, like, it got to a certain point where I was like, wait, why can't I do this? And they're like, well, this is hard. I'm like, I know, but I can always do stuff like really easy, like on the first try. And they're like, well, welcome to the real world. And I was like, hold up, like what? So, and there's always something in gymnastics that you can be learning.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't do one thing. It's like, you can try to do this thing. And then like everything always like intertwines in some kind of way. So that was just something that like one of the biggest lessons I think I've learned from gymnastics. Like I've learned that like, it's okay if you can't do something on the first try, and that doesn't mean you just give up.
Yeah.
And like, yes, like especially when I was younger, like it was okay because I was talented enough that I could just try something else and be good at it instead, like in the gym. Yeah. But then it got to the point where I was like, well, now I can't move on to that, what I want to do, until I get better at doing that. It's like, oh, this sucks. But like I learned so much from that. And like that's something my coaches like really helped me with. And it like, so it's like through college, I just learned that like, don't feel bad for being good at something. Unless you're just being arrogant and rude about it. Like, oh, you suck. Like, obviously I've never been like that. But it was just more like when I got here, I was able to like really like own, and like, just like, that's when my self-confidence really started to like, you know, come out. Cause I was like, I'm allowed to be good and know I'm good without being arrogant and cocky. And like sometimes being cocky to an extent, like internally, like walking into the arena and being like I'm better than you guys is okay. You don't walk into the arena, I'm better than you. Like that's rude.
Yeah.
But like you can walk in and be like, yeah, I'm really good. And like you're allowed to do that. And like I would, before I'd be like, oh, like people be like, you're so good. I'm like, no, like, and I'm still obviously like I would say I consider myself a humble person. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Like, you know, my team helps me and da 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 da. Because like it's not just one person like helping you out. So it's like, I don't know. I've just learned so much in that sense to be like, and that's something that like outsiders, when I say outsiders, I mean like non-Americans, like the stereotype is like, oh, the American like arrogant athlete that thinks they're the best at everything. And I came here and I was like, all the boys like, I'm going to the league. I'm like, how do you know? Like, what are you talking about? Like, no one talks about it at home.
Yeah.
No one talks like wishes that stuff into existence as much as people do here. And I'm like, you know what? Like, as arrogant as some people can be, like, that's probably why you guys are so successful at what you do.
I was just gonna say, I think you like for me, like I have say that again. Sorry.
It's so crazy because like if you believe it and you work hard, of course it's gonna happen. But if you just like, oh, I'm never gonna be able to do that, I'm not good enough for that. It's like, no, I'm good. And then it's like the universe. I'm a huge believer in like what you put out, you get back.
Yeah, law of attraction.
Like, exactly. It's so real. I'm like, this is why they're that good at stuff, because they believe that they are, even if they're not.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you're not good at something, it's like, yeah, I am. It's like, okay. But as long as they believe it, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. And that's what I've learned. It's like, because my dad's American, and my dad would always be like, yeah, USA's best basketball. We're the best in the world. And mom's like, stop that. Like, it's anyone's game. And dad's like, it's not. We're the best in the world. And I'm like, but guess what? You guys are the best in the world. And
watch the last 100 Olympics.
Right? Because you have that confidence in yourself. Yeah. It's like...
It's the American dream.
It's like as soon as you believe that, and it's like, and I believe like you can have that. You can do it in all kinds of different ways.
Sure.
But like I go home and I know that like some people are like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know. And my dad would say, he's like, you got that American swag. I'm like, what does that even mean? He's like, you're confident. Like you're confident in yourself. Like I left, I was like uncertain about myself. I didn't have self-confidence. I didn't love myself like I do now. So it's like when I came here, I learned, and I'm like, I can be humble and gracious and also be like, I'm freaking amazing at what I do and I deserve my successes. Yeah. And that's the shift. Like, that's what I've learned. And that's like, honestly, like one of the biggest takeaways I have from like coming to college. So,
yeah.
But,
yeah. No, I think a lot of, and I don't know how it is in other countries, obviously, but I think a lot of people have that because they're willing to, for me, like, I put that stuff out there, and obviously, my college career wasn't, if I could write my college career, I wouldn't have written the one I had, there was definitely a lot more disappointment than ups, but I still believed that to the bitter end, and I don't regret that. I don't regret like saying I was going to do something, because for me, like when I made, like, I'll just say, like, when you, like, let's say you want to go on a diet or you want to start exercising, like, if you don't tell anybody about it, it's not going to happen.
Yep.
Period. Like, but if you're accountable to not just yourself but other people, like if you tell the world something, you're going to put all your chips in that basket and do whatever you can to get it. Whether or not, and so I think like so many people are like you know, every football player that goes to every school says, I'm making it to the NFL. Statistically, no, you're not.
Yeah, statistically, and then we learn about that. They said that the first day of Bridge, they're like, statistically speaking, 2% of you guys are going pro. Yeah. And I was like, well, I'm not, because there's no such thing. So I was like, and there's like 15 football players in there, and they're all like, we're going. And I'm like, because I was just such a real, I was like, what? And I just didn't understand the power of like self-belief and manifestation and like, and now I say like as a joke, like literally everything, I'll be like, I'm good at that. Like we go bowling. I bowl like 60s. Like I'm not good. I'm good. But like, they'll be like, oh, like Isis, blah, 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 blah. Like, let's go bowling. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at bowling. My boyfriend's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And I'm like, because I just like doing it. I'm like, I say I'm good at everything because then it makes me feel good. And even if it's not, oh, well, I'll get it next time. You know what I mean? Rather than be like, I could never do that. Like, I suck at that. Like, how does that help anyone? You know?
Yeah. Well, like Confucius said, like, he who says he can't and he who says he can are both usually right. And I've just found so much value, like, people that I know that are successful, you're like, just in my experience and what I've seen, you're setting yourself up for the most success if you believe it, not if you're realistic about it.
Exactly.
Because if you look at things where they are, then they're just going to continue to be where they are, and it's not a recipe for success. But successful people are willing to look at something and have a vision for the future that maybe not anybody else can see, but they're still willing to believe it and like go after it. And so I've always found, and I've always seen, like, I think so many people are scared of like looking stupid.
Yep.
And I'm not like, you're probably the same way, but like most Division I athletes and most people, obviously people at your level, like are not scared to look stupid if it gets them closer to their goal.
Yep.
So.
Exactly. And I think that's just so important because at the end of the day, like I would say, like, I don't really care what people think to an extent. Like I'm one of those people that's like, I'll leave the house without makeup. I'll walk out wearing the same like clothes I did the day before, like to breakfast. I'm wearing like an oversized hoodie and pants to breakfast. Like it's just like, it is what it is. Like but like I care about what people think of me like as a person. And that's something that I'm learning. It's like, well, if you're true to who you are and you're true to what you believe and you'll hold your values true to you, they're going to perceive you however they're going to perceive you. So like, why should that affect you? Because like knowing there might be someone in this world that doesn't like me makes me so sad. I'm like, because I would say I'm a nice person. Like, I don't want anyone to be like, Isis is so mean. Like, that would, like, breaks my heart.
Yeah.
There are so many people out there that, like, I literally don't care what they think. Yeah. And it's like, but what if they think you're mean? It's like, so I know I'm not mean. It's like, wow. So, like, there's still things I'm working on for myself, and that comes from, like, within. Yeah. But I think, I don't know, it's just so much more about, like, what makes you happy and, like, what fuels your fire and, like, not being afraid. Like, just own it. Like, if you want to be the best nail tech in the universe, do it. Like there's no, like, don't be, if you're not studying like biomolecular engineering with the like minor in philosophical science and environmental like rockets, I don't know, like
you just made those majors up.
Yeah, I did, but I just had to think of like the smartest
did you say environmental rockets?
Yeah, I don't know, you know what I mean, like because for so long I was like, oh, like I'm so stupid, like I'm doing like human development and family sciences, and like my teammates are doing like biomolecular whatever, or like what engineering, you know what I mean? And it just made me feel like I was stupid. And I was like, but then I realized I'm like, well, okay, well that's their thing and they want to do that. Like, and then I'm like, I can't be jealous of not being in that position because I would hate to study biomolecular science.
Exactly.
I would hate it. Like I couldn't think of anything worse. Anyways, like I couldn't. So I'm like, well, why be like, you know what I'm trying to say? I was like, I just need to own what I'm good at, and I'm good at people. I'm good at talking to people. I'm good at communicating with people. Like I'm good at, like that's what I do. Like I'm a people person, and I think so many people only think that there's so many ways to like be successful or be smart or be good at something. Like, I don't know. Like introvert, like I would say I'm definitely like extroverted. Like I'm an extrovert. It's easy for me to talk to people and make friends. That's never really been an issue for me. So like when I find people who are like, you know, more shy, like I want to help them like come out of their shell, but then I'm like, well, that's actually really hard for them to do. Just like it's hard for like someone to tell me like, hey, can you just like not be like so like out there all the time? I'd be like, well, that's like I like being like that. So it's like I had to learn that like everyone's so different, but then like within us all being different, we have so many strengths, and that's what I think I learned about being on like my team and every team I've been on. Not one of us was the same. Like the quiet ones, they brought so much. Like when they had something to say and they said it, everyone was like, yes. Because it's one thing for the loud person to constantly say stuff. Mm-hmm. But when the person that doesn't usually say something says something, it's like, what did you say? Oh my, yes. It's like, you know what I mean? It's more like, I don't know, when everyone is able to like feel comfortable enough in a space to like be their true authentic self, I think that's just so important. And that's like, for me, this is my true authentic self. So it's like, and it just so happens to be that I'm loud. And I think so many people get the misconception that in order to be like a nice, happy, fun, whatever person, you have to be like that all the time. And that's so not true, because there are so many days where I am not like, because like everywhere it's draining. Like, you know what I mean? Like sometimes that's really draining, and you just need to, and like my roommates can testify that, my family can testify that, my closest friends can be like, you are not at 150% all the time. But that's what most people see. You know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's why it's important for me to be really transparent with everyone and not like have this whole like facade of like, I'm always happy, because I'm not. Like that's just not true. And I think that's why it's been great, me working with the Damn Worth It campaign and like a mental health campaign. And it's just been like, I don't know, I've learned a lot more about myself, and obviously like how many resources there are out there, but how many people feel like they have to be at a certain level all the time, because that's like, they feel like that's their role. Yeah. And it's like there's so many roles that you have, not just that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. Again, another long-winded answer, but I just like, I don't know. That's just such a complex topic, talking about that.
Yeah, no, first of all, you're an amazing person, and I loved everything you said. And I could legitimately, I told you 30 minutes. We've gone about 12 minutes over that. But I feel like I could talk to you all day. But I do want to end on this. I have a few notes that we're not going to get to, but maybe at some point we'll get you. Yeah, we'll get you on again for sure.
All the time.
So, but I do want to ask you. Sorry if you hear kids screaming. I swear I haven't kidnapped them. They're on the outside. I have the garage door open.
Okay, I was like, I just missed that last like 10 seconds.
Like, I said.
What did you say?
I said, sorry if you can hear kids screaming. I have the garage door open. I swear I didn't kidnap any kids or anything like that. But I do want to talk about this, the Damn Worth It campaign, because I want you to conceptualize it. I want you to promote it. I'm going to have Evan on at some point to tell his story. I think his story is amazing, and I want to get a few more big guests to get the podcast as big as possible to tell, so his story can reach as many people as possible. Because he has an amazing story. But I just want to ask, like, one, obviously this is a crazy time, and you touched on it a little bit. I think it's a time where like a lot of things have been taken from a lot of people, and our priorities are starting to be reinforced. You there? Did I lose you? Oh no. Sorry.
No, I can still see you. Like, I'm right
there. So like I was saying, like our priorities are starting to be reinforced. Like what's really important, and I think it goes in with, you know. So I just wanted to hear, like, what are some things like maybe you're leaning on or you're finding out like are important, aren't important, and then maybe just talk about the Damn Worth It campaign a little bit, and like what that's been for you, your role, and like how that, like, just, I mean, what the campaign does, and if anybody wants to get involved, how they get involved.
Absolutely. So I would say, like, for me, like during this time, it's been like a roller coaster. And like for me, when human interaction and like those connections are so important for me, it's hard at a time like this where you can't necessarily do that all the time. Like I'm not around all my friends, like vibing off of each other's energy, because that's what I love to do. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I love having my downtime, because like I said before, like sometimes I need to decompress. Like if I've been like, let's go for like 10 hours, I need to come home and just be like, like, oh my gosh. And and I think as I get older, I'm learning that like I'm more introverted than I think. Like I really do love spending time with myself. to an extent. So I think for me, like realizing that I need a balance of the two, and like knowing that that's okay, and knowing like even if I'm not like, you know what, like I still am that person, but like there's more to just like being at 900 million% all the time, because it's just, it takes so much out of you.
Yeah.
As easy as it is to do, as natural as it comes for me, that doesn't mean that I don't want someone to like match my energy sometimes, to like kind of, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yep.
So I think healthy balance has been really important, and figuring that out is hard, because it's like sometimes I want to like reach out and like have a 50 million people FaceTime call, and I'm also like, oh, but I can't be bothered. So it's like knowing that that's okay, and not to feel guilty if I'm not reaching out to everyone 24/7, because that's what I do. And it's like, okay, what do I need to do? You know what I'm trying to say? And obviously like staying in contact with my family has been really important, and especially if I haven't been able to like go home as much. And I'm used to not being able to go home as much, but it's more just like now that it makes it like more difficult to do so, it's like a little bit harder. So yeah, I've been trying to talk to them more. And the other thing I've been doing that I like steered away from, like I started doing it like in like fall term and then kind of stopped when like we hit season, which I should have kept going, is I have like a gratitude journal, and I'll write like what I'm grateful for. And then like no matter what the day is, whether it was like the worst day of my life, the best day, I write what I'm grateful for. And then like I kind of just write like a little snippet of like the day. So it's like I can kind of look back and be like, oh my goodness, like that day I blah, 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 blah. Or that day I remember that time. You know, so it's kind of just like good. But I think it's just so important to like appreciate what you do have. Because like right now, like you said, like we're all going through such like a weird time, and we feel like we've lost so much in so many different aspects of life. It's like it's really important that you do appreciate what you do have. So I'm like, I miss my family, but I'm grateful that I have a family to miss.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm grateful that I have a family that loves me enough that it makes it hard for me to not be with them all the time. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Because there are some people that right now that hate being home because they have a horrible home life.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm like, so it's like, it's not fair for me to be like, oh my gosh, like if you're home, like you need to be so grateful. And like, even though that is true, like be grateful with the time you spend, but like be grateful for the fact that like, for just what you have, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I would say that's been something that's been huge for me. And even like there's been some nights where I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like I'm not in the mood. I'm like, I don't want to do it. Like I'm grateful for stuff, but I don't want to do it. And I'm like, no, like it's important for me to write down what I'm grateful for. So that's like for me, like, writing it down makes it real. And I like writing. Like I don't like doing it on my phone because like it's just not like the connection isn't there.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that.
I like writing it down, so that's been really cool. And then like after I do it, I feel like accomplished, even if it was like I'm writing about how I felt sad or how I felt lonely or whatever it is. It's like, okay, I've put it out there and now I can sleep on it. You know what I mean? But yeah, the mental health campaign, like Damn Worth It, has been great. Like it was co-founded by one of my former teammates and one of Amber's former teammates on the soccer team and on the gymnastics team, and both lost teammates to suicide. So it was really like it hit home. So it was like when like they really turned something that was so tragic, and everyone struggled with their own mental health, and they were like, let's turn this tragedy into something beautiful and help inspire other people to speak out, to get help, to like be okay with not being okay, and really use that vulnerability and turn it into a strength, because it is. Like people, and so many times, like it started especially to like end the stigma around mental health in sport, because so many athletes feel like, gotta be tough, gotta be strong, you know, like when you're struggling, it's okay because that means you're getting stronger. But it's like, actually, sometimes when you're struggling, it doesn't mean you're getting stronger. Like, just like you need a rest day for your body, like you need a rest day for your mind, and you get treatment for your body, you take your ankle when it hurts, you get in the ice tub when you're sore. What do we do for our minds when that's, you know? And like we can't be expected to be at our best if we have other things going on. And I think that it's still something that needs to change in the culture of sport and just in general, in so many different like subgroups and cultures as well. Like you can talk about toxic masculinity as much as you want. Like a big old tough 260-pound football player might not want to be like, guys, I'm just feeling a little bummed out today. They'll be like, put your pants on and go out there and hit some people. And that's like what we need to change, because it's like if you look at the statistics and like it doesn't matter who you are, Michael Phelps, like you'd think he's so like all of these celebrities, all of these famous athletes that are like, you think like they're so rich, what could they ever be sad about? Look at that beautiful life, look at those kids. And they're like, actually I have severe depression and I need help, and I go see a counselor, that's okay. And everyone's like, what? Like if that's happening to a top tier athlete,
Yeah.
one of the great athletes in the world, of course your average Joe is going to be feeling like that too, because there's daily stresses.
Yeah.
If you're a broke college student that can't afford housing, how does that affect you?
Yeah.
And if you're a single parent that's trying to raise 3 kids and you're working 7 jobs, how's your mental health going?
Yeah.
So it's just really trying to like bring awareness to the fact that it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
And that like it's not a weak thing, because
Yeah.
it's important, because like you don't want to have with your friends. It's hard to see people that you love struggle, but so many times like you don't know when people are struggling. So like for me, like I would tend to be like, I don't want to tell them how I feel, because like I don't want to like burden them. And it's like, and I still to this day sometimes it's even hard for me to be like, yeah, it's just struggling a little bit, and I'm getting better at doing that. But like, because I would always expect, I'm like, well, if I'm not feeling like okay, like I'm waiting for someone to be like, you good? And then I'd be like, actually, rather than me be like, hey, excuse me, I need to talk to you. So it's like we're just trying to encourage people that no matter who you are, what you do, where you're going in life, like what walk of life you're on, like it happens to all of us, and it like affects all of us so differently. So just like not to judge, because it's like there's just so much beauty in life, and it's like it's obviously easy to say that when you're in a position like I am, and I'm so grateful for all the blessings I have, but that doesn't mean that you don't struggle, you know. So I just love that, and I work within the social marketing, social media team. So you know, we do a lot to try to like ramp up the Instagram and like post things. And this month we've been doing a damn positive month of April. So like just like, you know, taking us through our day. What do we do to stay positive? Like just being real about it. So that's been really cool. And I just love how I'm able to use the platform I have through sport to talk about this. Because whenever I post things on my Instagram, I get a lot of people like, thank you for this. I needed this today. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that me by posting a little quote, posting on my Instagram, someone was going to reach out and say, I needed this today. And I'm like, imagine how many people do need that and they just didn't speak up and say it. You know what I mean? Like, and to know that like people really respond to that, like makes me feel good, and it makes me feel like I'm able to at least help one person. Like if you can help one person in this world, like I think you've done your job. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So if I have a platform, if I have thousands of followers, why not use it and like advocate for stuff that I'm passionate about and I believe is really important. So
yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And you can attest to this too. And I'll just make one more point and then, you know, I'll let you go here. We've gone almost an hour. But like our weaknesses are how we connect to people most, not like our strengths. Like, you know, because not everybody has, you know, you can't connect to everybody through being an all-American gymnast. You know, not everybody has that mindset. Gymnastics.
And I can't relate to dude on the mat. Like, I don't know that. I don't know what that's like to be a wrestler. So we don't have that connection. I
think gymnastics and wrestling, I've always said gymnastics and wrestling are the two hardest sports in college. And obviously I'm a homer, so I'm going to have to say wrestling's tougher, but I'm sure you would say gymnastics. But as far as mindset goes, we probably, you know, those two sports probably have the most similar as far as that goes. But like, yeah, I mean, our weaknesses are what connects us to people. Like our weaknesses is what, you know, the fact that we can relate to somebody through weakness is normally what's going to bring somebody through the fire, not relating to somebody through, you know, our strength.
Mm-hmm.
So
because that's real, like that's real life problems. Like if a celebrity says like, or a famous athlete, it's like, oh my gosh, like my Lamborghini broke down. Everyone's like,
exactly.
Woo! Like, Lamborghini. When they're like, I struggle with mental health, everyone's like, me too. Oh, and then it really just like strips away all of those like layers to who you are to get down to the root, to be like, I am this. I'm an Olympic gold medalist. I am the best in the world at what I do, but I can connect with a single mother of 3 children working 12 jobs because we both have anxiety or we're both struggling. And that's not to say you have to have like, you know, a mental illness or a mental disorder or like struggle with mental health to connect to people, but like just day-to-day struggles when people can be like, oh, like it just really strips away those barriers and like allows for more conversation. And that's what this campaign is aiming to do. We're trying to start the conversation. We're not mental health professionals. Yeah. We're everyday regular people who struggle because we all do. Yeah. And we're just trying to advocate that that's okay. And we just want to be here for people as a support. You know what I'm trying to say? Like that it's raising awareness
Yep.
We're not out here. Like, if you need professional help, we encourage you to get professional help. We're not sitting here doing like FaceTime calls with our people, like diagnosing prescription. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't do that.
It's not Dr. MD. Or
Exactly. We're everyday people that are here to tell you that it's okay, and we're here for you and to reach out when you need it. And that's what I think is so beautiful about this, because it's not coming from scientists. It's not coming from people with PhDs in psychology. It's like, no, I'm Isis. I'm a gymnast. I was an elite gymnast for years. I was a college gymnast, and I struggle too sometimes. Yeah. And that's, so I think that's just what's so beautiful about that campaign. And even if like next year I'm not working like on the campaign or like on the committee, I'm always going to advocate, because it's so important.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Isis, please send me any information that you'd like me to link for Damn Worth It in the description for this, guys. If you want to help out with Damn Worth It, I'll post a link or whatever. I'm sure you can send that. And then also send me is it Arbonne? How do you say it? Arbonne? Arbonne. Yeah. Send me that too, and I'll post that in the description as well, because we plug both of those things. So hey, I appreciate you doing this. This was awesome.
Thanks, Christian. I had so much fun. Let me know. I'd love to be back on.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.